or your traditional ruler, anyone at all that you think you love and you want them to be in the building, anyone talking to anybody, psychologists, psychiatrists, medical doctors, HR practitioners, please kindly invite them to join the session today. Well, my name is Praise Forward, and I'm super excited, to be here. I consider myself to be an authentic African. And so wherever I see my African brothers, I stand for them. I don't know the difference between a South African and a Nigerian, a Kenyan, a Zimbabwean, any part of Africa. I live in the US, and I walk across different continents of the world. Everywhere I see my African brothers, I stand for them. 2 years ago, I was invited to Canada to lead conversation about the future of the African kids in Canada, right? I always say everywhere I go that, the spirit of Africa is the same spirit, right? So whether you want to talk about whether Nigerian jollof is better than a Ghanaian jollof, whether Amapiano in South Africa is better than Afrobeat in Nigeria, it's the same Africa, and we are going to transform Africa together. So I want to welcome you to this meeting because it's going to be an amazing session today. And so I want you to pay attention because I'm going to take you on a journey. And I believe this journey is going to transform your life. This is a 2-day boot camp. So today, I'm going to start. Tomorrow, we'll complete this session. You don't want to miss any of the sessions between today and tomorrow. And so today, I'm going to be speaking about the new rules of family life practice. I'm going to start a conversation because the rules have changed. Over the years, the rules have changed. Unfortunately, a lot of my colleagues have not changed. I mean, I practice in the US and in the UK, Canada, and quite a number of countries. Consistently, I realized that the conventional way of family life practice before now is that the clients will come to you. You sit down in your office, the client comes to see you. But now we have to go to the client. You have to show to the client that you are available. So many of my colleagues, the professors, the PhD holders, who are not conversant with the use of social media, with all the AI tools to boost their practice, a whole lot of them are out of job. And what we having is we're now beginning to have people who are unlicensed, who are untrained, who are giving advice on social media, and they become more popular and more people go to them. And so they make more money. The people who have the knowledge are not making money. In fact, we now have a lot of people who are passionate, but they are not making money. And they keep saying to themselves, I am doing it for God. I used to be like you. So I'm going to share a couple of things with you today. At the end of the session, you would have discovered the opportunities that exist in the family life space, 7 reasons why family practitioners struggle, 6 sabotaging beliefs you need to uninstall, 5 of the 10 new rules of family life practice that can transform your practice, and the best template to accelerate your success rate across the globe. Now, so if anything is going to disturb you, please turn it off, right? If you have a name you want us to call you, maybe you're a doctor, you're an engineer, a pastor, whatever name, whatever title you have, put it on your Zoom and then put on your camera, right? And so the first thing I want us to do, it's a prayer. I pray all the time when I'm having a session with my colleagues. Okay, so I want you to open your mouth and then we're going to read this together, right? Because if you don't think you're worthy to be paid for your practice, nobody pays you. So when I see several people say to me, you know what, Praise, I do it for free. I say to them, someone is paying the bills. It's either you're picking it up, your job, or your husband, or your wife, somebody's picking the bills, right? And so if you're ready, okay, when to go? I am worthy of whatever I desire to earn from the incredible value I had to humanity. I deserve much more than I charge because I save lives every day, much more than the world can imagine. My clients attain clarity and achieve their desired result, why I also achieve my financial goals. I'm a family life coach and I keep the world happy. Fantastic, fantastic. Well done, you deserve it. So I'll quickly tell you a story. So many years ago, when I was a kid, right, I always loved to sit where my father used to sit. My dad was an Anglican priest. And so every time my father sat with church members, maybe was counseling them, I would go there and I'll put my mouth in whatever I was saying. And then I'll get a knock and they'll chase me out of the room. And they'll tell me, you know, You don't get in, and you don't intrude in what adults is talking about. Get out of this room. And then I'll get slapped sometime, get spanked sometime. And so I went into my shell. While I went into my shell, I became a victim of child sexual abuse. So there was an auntie who was sexually molesting me from age 4 to 8, to 12, no, to 8. Yeah, then someone else took over from 8 to 12. So I was totally a wreck. I had become introverted. My dad was very excited about it, because he thought that maybe God has taken control of my life. I was no longer the, troublemaker in the house and all. He was excited about it, but I was suffering. Now, I got on campus and then I started to change, right? I started changing my life. I started recovering, but there was a problem. I was studying accounting, but from year 2, I knew I wasn't going to practice an accountant. I was the guy that people came to, boys who wanted to ask girls out in my class. I was the guy that came to ask for vibes and what to say to the girls. And so I'll teach them, this is how to talk to a girl. Yet I was still the same one the girls would come and meet to ask them, what should we do? Should we say yes or should we say no? So I was that guy everybody came to. So from year 2 in the university, I started going to the library to study books on psychology, books on relationship, and what have you. That was what I started to do. Now, the more I did that, the more I realized that more people came to me and I became quite popular at school. So when I was leaving the university, I knew I wasn't going to practice as an accountant. I just wanted to change the world. So when I left school, I was taking a walk one day. And as I took the walk, I saw little girls who were prostitutes in ages 14, 15, 16. And I got to my room. I was very upset. And I decided to, blame the government, blame everybody, blame everyone. The more I blamed the government, I just felt an emptiness in my soul. So I knelt down to pray. As I prayed, I couldn't sleep. And I had a voice say to me, but you can do something about it. And I was like, no, I don't have money. How do I rehabilitate prostitutes? And it said to me, remember that way back on campus, you could ask any girl out if you wanted her. So the same way you can toast prostitute out of prostitution. So the following day, I was disguised as a customer, went to that prostitute's hub, and I started talking girls out of prostitution. I literally emptied that brothel that I became enemy number 1 of the operators of brothels in a place called Ajegule in Lagos State, Nigeria. Now, the more I emptied the brothel, the more other girls went into that trade. So I created a change to say, okay, instead of rehabilitating, let's prevent. So we started a meeting called Golden Islam. And that meeting has produced a whole lot of people, who are doing very well today. We were able to take over 300 girls out of the commercial sex workers trade. But I discovered something. All the girls I worked with in the brothel, I never met one of them who was not sexually abused. All of them. Because I kept wondering, how does a girl, because each of the girls needed to sleep with at least 11 men every day to break even. I decided to ask, this couldn't have just been about poverty or prosperity. There must be more. Because for you to spread your life for 11 men every day, something must have gone wrong with your humanity. And so I found out that almost all of them were sexually abused. Then I was able to link sexual abuse to learned helplessness, wherein what it takes away from you is your identity. And so I had to do a whole lot of work to work with these girls back home. And then I spotted parenting problem. I spotted marital problem in a lot of marriages. And so I started looking for content around Africa to say, there must be a school that offer a course on family science. I didn't find any. I applied to so many schools. The only schools I found were in America. So I applied to a school in America to come and study family science. And then my father died. Of course, my father died. There was no way I was going to be able to finance that education. So I stayed back in Nigeria. But while I stayed back, I had this restlessness. So I started checking, okay, what is happening in South Africa? I was studying every African country to see what is the family life problem there? What are the challenges there? So if I couldn't travel to America, I said, okay, there must be something I can do. So I decided to get into research. Before then, I'd created the most comprehensive sexual education kits in Africa. They were used in a lot of African countries. I'd created a new model for parenting and all. But then I wanted the professional family life practice because pastors were the ones who counseled people. And then with pastors, they weren't making money, And so I'd gone to study with some of the best brains I knew in Africa, who were doing that thing. But I wanted something more professional because I couldn't understand why you had to sit with a client for 3 hours, right? There must be a way to diagnose cases within 5 to 10 minutes and without listening to them, right? So they told me it wasn't possible. So what did I do? I spent the next 11 years thereabout. I sat with couples. I identified 25 couples across Africa who had done 45 years to 65 years and married, 40 years to 65 years and married, sorry. And so my mom was in that ring, so she introduced me to a couple of them. So I went and met them, I observed them, I was asking them, what made your marriages work? Some of them didn't know. So I said, can I observe you over a period of time? So I started to observe them and I started to document everything I was observing. Then we built a framework out of it. When we built a framework out of it, right, I decided to create a psychometry with my colleagues that without you listening to couples, you could literally know what is wrong. All they need to do is administer a questionnaire and fill the questionnaire. And so when I did that, right, I couldn't bring it to the market because I was like, Africans will not buy it. Let me travel abroad. If I travel abroad and I take it to a school and I partner with them, Africans will buy. So I came to the US, but I went to see my mentor. My mentor is dead now, late Dr. Miles Monroe. I saw Dr. Miles and I sat with him. And he was like, what do you want to do? I said, yeah, we created the solution, but we're not sure Africans will buy it. We want to come and put it and collaborate with a school in America, so that when we take it back to Africa, it will be like, African American certification and stuff like that. Dr. Miles smiled and he said to me, are you aware that the solution of Africa, the salvation of Africa is in Africans? Are you aware that American solution won't solve African problem? I said, I've seen it. Because, I've seen some of our people in therapy for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, and I'm wondering, what are they doing? And they pay every time they go for this therapy. And Dr. Miles said to me, there are two things. He looked at the model I'd built, and he said, okay, two things. One, you can decide to take it to America, to the schools, and they'll take it from you. But then I think what you have is superior to what I have seen. Said the other way is take it back to Africa and then trust the process and do it till it scales. And so I took his advice. He said it might be slower, but then eventually the whole of Africa will take it and then it will solve critical problems for Africa. And so came back to Nigeria, did nothing with it. Then I was taking a course, neuro-linguistic programming. And then I was writing for newspapers. I was very popular. Almost everyone knew. Maybe I was one of the best that was across Africa. And so some of my colleagues came to me and said, Praise, your model is totally different. Your results profound. Can you teach us what you know? So I said to them, well, I have this model that I can teach you, but it will take 7 days. I will need to lock you up in a room. And so they said, no problem. So they locked themselves. I said, you can get 10 of you. So they got 13. And I taught them across 7 days. Trust me, by the third day, people were passing out in class because it was radically different. They've never seen anything like that before. Now, I had gone ahead. I'll complete the story later. Our day, our life have been totally transformed, but I've gone ahead to prove that you can actually make money from this. In fact, I remember when I left paid employment, 2003. Everybody told me, nobody will pay you for being a family life coach in Africa. You can never make money. Blah, 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 blah. But I can tell you, I told them, if I do this for 5 years and for 7 years and nobody pays me, I'll go back to paid employment. It did not make sense because nobody was inviting me anyway. So I created a platform for myself. No internet. I went inside the buses, paid for their tea fare, and I started teaching them about new family life and blah. Every time I came down, people asked me, how can we get you? How? So I am saying this to you to say to you that there is no excuse. Don't wait for people. Some of you will complain, nobody is coming to me, nobody is inviting me. Nobody deserves to invite you until you invite yourself. I invited myself inside the buses, invited myself everywhere I went, and I was teaching the message about African family and what can make the family life work. Let me tell you, after a while, every places I wrote proposals to, they refused. Oh, we don't need it. We don't need this. We don't need it. But let me tell you, all of them, after about 5 years, by the 6th year, they started inviting me back. Then when I was going initially, I was begging them, oh, let me do it. You don't need to pay me. But all of them, if I remember, a church brought me back and they paid me 3 million in 2009 or 2011, thereabout, 3 million naira. They didn't know I was the same person. When I collected the money, I was finishing the training for their people, and I narrated the story of how I came here about 6 years before and how I begged, and they told me they didn't need me. So you were the same person? I said, yes, but I want to thank you for rejecting me then, because maybe God wanted me to collect money. Right. And so I have mentored people, taught them on how they can actually be profitable if they do this family life thing. Now, and so over the years, I have gone consulting across the globe, meeting with family life coaches across Africa, the rest of the world. I was the first African to join the Family Life Coaching Association in America. Now I served on their board. I came to the US. I have a green card, permanent residency here. What brought me to the US? The US government analyzed everything I had done in Africa, and then they told me, can you replicate it in America? If you can replicate it, then we'll give you a green card. Right. They gave me 3 years to replicate it. 1.5 of those years was spent during COVID, so I couldn't travel. Got into America, I had 1 year left, replicated my result, in America within that 1 year, and I got a green card. Right. Just about 2 weeks ago, the outgone President Joe Biden, I was selected among the recipients of the Lifetime Award, for volunteering service in the US, right? And so I was given a lapel, I have a certificate, and a whole lot has happened. My life has literally changed by innovating family life solution. Now, I have said all of this so you can see this was me planning the Family Life Coaching Association conference, with some of my colleagues in America, me with the mayor, and me with quite a number of people. Now, I have said all of this for you to know that your life can change. Family life coaching, family life science changed my life. I do no other thing. I don't trade. I don't sell cars. I don't sell anything. All I do is coaching, and I get paid so well. I mean, someone was in the house yesterday, and I was with a client. I was like, oh, Praise, are you seeing it? I said, well, my clients these days are people can pay $10,000 at the minimum. If it's less than that, I delegate my team to do it, right? And so it was like, you get paid that much? I said, yeah, we even get paid much more than that when it's consulting. I was like, wow, this your field must be lucrative. And I said, your highs. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Well done. How did that make you feel? How did it make you feel? Can you go in the chat box and let me know how that made you feel? Because if we don't do that, we can't even start this session. Okay, thank you all of you who are just joining us. So go to the chat box. Okay, somebody say, awesome, I feel great. So relaxing, so great. Fantastic, fantastic. That's what we do. Our people can do better. They can earn a whole lot from what they do. Well done, well done. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of all of you. Okay, now, having said all of that, I'll start this session by saying that the day Africa decides to rise, the world will be healed. That is what I believe. The day Africa decides to rise, the world will be healed. And you are that African that needs to rise. You are the one listening to me. I have worked with my colleagues in America, China, Japan. I've worked with the Emirates. In fact, we're going to Doha. If you're available, you can join us to Qatar in November this year. We're going to be locking down for like 6 days thereabout. If you can make it, that'll be fantastic. I would love to see you there. I have sat with them and I see what we have as Africans. What we have is so rich, so powerful, that the only problem we've had in Africa are the leaders. But we cannot continue to blame the leaders. I always tell people, see, if I can operate and function at the highest level out here, I was a little boy who was living in a ghetto in Africa, right? And so I tell people that if you don't have hope in Africa or you don't have hope in yourself, look at my life and let my life inspire you. That regardless of where you are right now, there is so much in you and there is so much that you can be and that you can do. Right. So follow me carefully. I'm going on a journey. As it stands today in Africa, data says there is 1.7 mental health worker per 100,000 people. So it means, let's even say 2. So it means for every 2 persons here, you are expected to reach out to 100,000 people annually. I don't know how you're going to do it. In fact, I was reading that Nigeria, as big as Nigeria is, Nigeria has less than 300 psychiatrists. Less than 300 psychiatrists for 200 million people. So whenever you see our people commit suicide, whenever you see divorce happens, whenever you see domestic violence happen, whenever you see couples disintegrate, children suffer, stop blaming the government. We are responsible, because if we rise up as a people and begin to help our people, we would have been able to prevent a lot of marriages from happening, because we have a lot of tools that can transform people. I mean, I'm sitting with people in premarital counseling, and my assessment is showing why they should not get married immediately. And they are grateful to me. That praise, thank you for preventing what would have been a disaster. There is so much we can do, right? And so I say to people, what separates us from the rest of the world is not just competence issue. It is often esteem issue and lack of belief in our solution. And that's why every solution we have created, we've branded it in an African language. So you will hear us talk about Ubuntu. You will hear us talk about Oyela. You know, we have literally branded it. I mean, I was talking to someone 2 days ago, and he was saying to me, oh, would you mind changing this Oyela? I said, no, we're not going to change it. We know why we branded it that way, right? Because if you take a psychometry, it shows everything that is wrong with you. 96% accurate. It's been tested in America. They've proven that it works, right? And so I said, we're not going to change it, because if you guys can force us to pronounce Yamaha, then you must learn to pronounce Oyela or Ubuntu, right? Because we don't have a competence issue. The issue we have is that we don't believe that our solution works. We would rather go and bring our government would rather go to America and bring a professor of nothing, really. A professor of nothing, because I keep saying to America, if all your marital theories work, how come your divorce rate is this high? Right? And so it's not about the theories or whatever that is superior. It's about how we've been able to harness a solution and package it and deploy it intentionally the African way. And so you need to understand that in the family life space, the value chain has a lot of opportunities, too many opportunities, that's where you can make money if you know exactly what you're doing, right? Among the opportunities, you have personal coaching. I have mentees who do maybe close to 40 million in Nigeria just from coaching, right? Personal coaching, right? We have those people. You can do group coaching. I sometimes do group coaching, $2,000 per person, and sometimes I have like 20 people in class, right? Group coaching, you can make money from group coaching. Organizational employee family assisted program. A lot of African organizations do employee assisted program. In Canada, they do more of employee family assisted program. That is very green. Many organizations are not doing that in Africa. We can bring it in. Report preparation. You can just focus on writing reports and you make a lot of money. You can do deals with government. Consulting, intellectual property development. You can create courses, certification programs. You can do partnerships. You can do not-for-profit and get grants. There are grants available, $2 million. A friend was telling me they got $10 million grant to support Africa for the next 5 years, right? You can do matchmaking, preparation and marital preparation and response. Arts and entertainment, you can go into the movie industry and begin to shoot new movies. You can do child development. You can do family support. The value chain is so much that whatever you decide to brand yourself and focus on, you can make a lot of money. Whatever country in Africa you belong to. In fact, one of the things we've done is to collapse Africa, to say every African is our brother, and we've taken responsibilities for ensuring that the right model gets to every African country. And so these are the opportunities you have to make money. So the question is, why are many people struggling? Why would you go through an entire year and you have counseled or you have coached or you have helped many people? Some of you, like 50 people, 100 people, they said, thank you, you are the reason my marriage worked. How come they have not paid you? Let me tell you a story. There was a couple that came to see me one day. Their marriages were on the verge of divorce and they were begging me. By the time I gave them my bill, way back in Nigeria, they told me, oh, praise, we don't have money. right? I didn't know that it was just that they didn't want to pay for session. Oh, we don't have money. Can you just help us, right? So, I mean, I don't turn people away, right? I wouldn't turn them away. So I decided to help as a proper African boy. I helped them. I ran 9 sessions, 9. After the 9 sessions, the wife who has decided she wasn't going to forgive him for everything he's done, decided to come back, and then they came back together. And they came to thank me to say, oh, praise, thank you very much. And then these people, you know, they just prayed for me. Nothing given. The following Sunday, my friend was doing child dedication in his church. So he invited me. So I followed my friend for the child dedication. That was the day I decided I will always charge for my services. Got to the child dedication and it was testimony time. And this couple came to share testimony in their church. I didn't know they attended that church. And they were sharing about how their marriages was in trouble and how Papa gave the word. And the word of Papa, they ran with the word. And now their marriages are restored. And to thank Papa, they just bought a brand new car and they are donating it to a church. My heart sank where I was. And I was like, wait a minute. Am I dreaming? These were the people I sat with. These were people I helped. These were the people, marriage that God used me to restore, right? And so it dawned on me that maybe because I wasn't a papa or because I didn't have money or something, from that moment, I made up my mind, no more free, whatever. But I created an NGO to some people couldn't pay me for free. But that's what happens. A lot of the people have money to pay, but they don't feel you deserve to collect the money. Our people naturally love to be manipulated. So if I'd come with one handkerchief or I'd come with one water and say, buy this water, will cure your marriage, it's $1,000, they're ready to buy. But I felt really, really disappointed that day because how do you, I mean, so maybe I should change my name to Papa. Or guys, what do you think I should do? Maybe I should begin to roll as well. But you see, I don't keep an offense. But what we've decided to do because of the dearth of family life professionals in Africa, what we're going to do, we believe that within the next 5 years, right, by the year 2030, we would have raised 5,000 highly competent and profitable family life professionals across Africa and the diaspora. That's what we want to do. So from this year, we want to do like 1,000 people kind of and help them become profitable, whatever country, wherever they are functioning. So we have practitioners in Canada who are attending to the African community because the white therapists don't simply understand us. They don't understand the nuances. They don't know that in Africa, we still debate who should cook between husband and wife. We still have debates about, you know, should in-laws come, should they not come? That is not in their research. So they don't understand us. And so we are positioning our people. In fact, now we have written to universities to say, can you begin to integrate African intelligence in whatever your therapists are learning so that they can better understand how to psychoanalyze and undo an African? So that is what we want to do. And we believe all of you on this call are going to be part of that. So here is where we're going to start from. So let me test your intelligence a little bit. So there's a picture in front of you. If I ask you, what can you see? And how does this make you feel? What will be your answer? I need your answer on the chat box. Yeah, what do you feel? What do you see in front of you? Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Cringe, you cringe. Galini say I cringe. Yeah, what do you see? Does this picture look like to you? And how does it make you feel? Bum bum, somebody say bum bum, somebody say prostitute. Fantastic. I need more people, a prostitute, nudity, half naked, depressed individual, sad, a whore, seductive, sex worker. I see a prostitute, I feel sad, a hooker. I see troubled young people, prostitute, soliciting, indecent dressing, dysfunctional, un-African, sex worker, nudity. Okay, can you pause? Can you all pause? How did you arrive at your conclusion? I want to assume all of you are leaders. All of you are people who work with people. How did you conclude that what you can see in front of you is a prostitute? What part of the picture gave, okay, somebody say a posture, culture. Could it have been that you were influenced by the movies you have seen, by what you have heard, by the history you've heard? And so, without any analysis, no data analysis, no diagnosis, you concluded, okay, that this person is a prostitute, the way she's dressed. What if you now discover that she was actually in a compound and she was talking to her husband to say, sweetheart, don't travel yet. Come to the room. Let's have more sex before you travel. What if you have this additional information? And so you see how many of us work with people, right? You see how we judge without having enough information. And so we have concluded, based on our religious mind, based on the movie we've seen, because truly all our movies depict a prostitute like this, right? Everywhere they show somebody like this, they think it's a prostitute. What if this person raises her face and he happens to be your younger sister? You now realize, oh, this is my younger sister. Her name is Esther. Will you still join us to... Grace, I love that. I see a paradigm shift coming to many people with this program. Will you still say this girl is a prostitute? You don't have any data, but you all concluded. So how do you help a people that you already judge? So it means that if this lady had $1 million to pay you, you will never see her money because you already judged that she was a prostitute. There is what we call the principle of neutrality. And the principle of neutrality says that as a family life professional, whenever you sit in your seat, on your seat as a coach, you cannot wear the cap of a religious or a cultural person. You must be neutral and depend solely on data. If you don't have a data, you cannot judge. You cannot take a position. Once you take a position, you become subjective and you become somebody who's native intelligent. You are not a pastor. When you sit down on your seat as a family life coach, right? It's assumed that you have to be fair to everyone concerned. No wonder they brought a woman to Jesus and they say we caught her in the very act. And what did he say? He did not say, he that is without, that has not fornicated, stone her. If he had said that, he would have stoned her. He said, he that is without sin, cast the stone. Because naturally, the way human beings work in the religious space is, everyone judges everyone whose sin looks bigger than their own. So a liar feels sad until he meets a thief. Then he judges a thief. A thief feels sad until he sees a fornicator. He judges the fornicator. Fornicator feels sad until he sees maybe gay. He judges gay. Gay feels bad until he sees the bestiality. He judges that one. You know, that is how we are, right? And so what we need to know, the first thing you need to address your mind about is, if they look at this picture as a professional, if you see more than a lady, a space, maybe a car, the lady is talking to someone we don't know. She's wearing maybe a red top, a black pant or knicker and net. If that is all I can see, that is data. Every other thing you now decide, it's your own interpretation. There is nothing on this picture that says prostitute. There is nothing there that says whore. There's nothing there that says soliciting. You were the one that came up with that interpretation. We are naturally judgmental. And that is why we cut ourselves off from jobs and deals we could have gotten, because our brain was psychoanalyzing, was judging. She's a sinner. Oh, no. Let us stone her. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let me go to the next picture. Now, I know that you would think differently. What do you see here? What do you see here? What do you see here? What can you see? This one. What can you see? Let me see now. I know that some of you are going to change. Okay, somebody said, ladies, mom's dancing, fashion parade. Okay, it's sounding better now. Okay, fun. A group of young girls, ladies standing, group of ladies having party, dancing. Nobody's saying prostitute. Nobody's saying fantastic. Somebody say can't even see anything. Amazing, right? Ushers, ladies having fun. It can be anything, right? And so, look at this. What do you see? Right? Beautiful faces. Now, what do you see? Now, let me say this. The moment your interpretation becomes subjective and you are caught in the bug of stereotyping, your ability to build a profitable business becomes hampered because you no longer see human beings. You see labels, you lose customers, and excuse yourself on what they can pay you. Let me tell you, every time in Africa They said this person raped this person, and they expect me to come out and fight the rapist. I don't. Not because I can't. I would if I was an activist. Unfortunately, I'm not an activist. I'm a family life coach. I stand between the living and the dead. The rapist needs me. The raped person needs me. If I take a position, I can't help any of them. And so many of us don't know our role. If you want to be an activist, it's not wrong for you to fight and carry placard and say justice. Yeah, you're an activist. Unfortunately, I'm not. And so many of us, we are caught in the bug of stereotyping because your interpretation is subjective. You must not see labels. The moment you see labels, the people that should pay you, they can't pay you anymore because you already judged them, right? And so a man is beating his wife. He has money to pay for you to resolve it, but you have said the man is a useless man. All men has come. You as a family professional, they're not going to come to you because you have taken a position without having enough data. So that is why, as a family professional, there's what we call people perceptual code. Every human being you see is dash. What is that dash? For me, every human being I see is a royalty, regardless of how they dress, regardless of what they wear, regardless of what they have. I'm going to treat them like a royalty. If that is your modus operandi, you will be able to help more people. And so, the biggest error in our world today is the error of assumption. And that's why we say that all that you know is not all there is to know. All you know is what you know. But what you know is not all there is to know. And so once you are caught up in the bug of assumption, you lose out of what you are able to do in that space. So we say a family life professional whose knowledge base is skewed can cause more harm than good. If your knowledge base is skewed, I mean, I don't know how many of you, wife came and then the wife came and she started crying. My husband did this, my husband did that, and blah, 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 blah. And your mind was already biased about the man that when he came, the guy was already judged. You become a judge, you're not a family life professional. I remember I had a client one day, and this woman called me in the middle of the night. Said, Mr. Praise, I've been telling you, this my husband is wicked. See, he just punctured me. He wants to kill me. I'm locking myself up. Please, Mr. Praise, you need to leave your house now and come to my house. No. A distress call, you are not a police. You should not leave your house or else you might get kidnapped or you might get into trouble. What if I go and they shoot me? Right? She was crying. I'm locking myself up. I said, madam, please, could you call the police? I don't want to call the police. It is you I want. What if I go there and they rape me? What if I go there and they rope me into trouble? You must never be emotional about this work. And so I refused to go. And I said, madam, if you can't call the police, I'll be at my office at 9 o'clock. I'll give you a 10 o'clock appointment. By 10 o'clock, this woman showed up in my office. There was no scratch. She didn't look like anybody that was beaten. So she sat down and I said, madam, what is the problem? What happened last night? And then she, no. I asked her to come with her husband, actually. So she came with her husband. So I was like, sir, what happened? And the man said, Mr. Praise, yesterday night, my wife wanted me to manufacture the money I don't have. And I told her that can the amount wait when I collect my salary and I'll give her a part of it. And then all hell was let loose. She began to abuse me and she locked herself in and started calling you. So I asked her, woman, was that what happened? And she said, yes. Why would he not pay me? But you said that he was killing you. He wanted to kill you. He wanted And he said, I just needed you to know the enormity of what he was doing. That is a wicked man. Now imagine if I left my house to go in there. Imagine if I had accident on the way. Imagine if armed robbers caught me on the way. So you need to understand that you cannot afford to be emotional. And that's why your knowledge base cannot be skewed. If you can actually be a Christian counselor, if you want to be a Christian counselor, you can be a Muslim counselor. But if you want to be a professional family life coach, neutrality. You need to be neutral on your seat and you can afford to be emotional. Right. Somebody said you're not the Messiah. That's it. I am not the Messiah. Right. And I can't save everybody. Now, having said that, there is a reality check I want you to pay attention to. How skilled are you in handling the various problems in the family life sector. How skilled are you at the moment? So we're going to do a simple assessment. And I want you to pick your notepad and answer the question. The one I want you to put on the chat box, I'll let you know. The first question I'm going to ask you, I want you to write it down. What is your desired family life practice result? If all your dreams in this sector can come to pass, what would it look like? What would your result? What is your desired family life practice result? Write it down on your sheet of paper. Write it down. What would be your ideal amount you want to earn? Who would you want to transform? How would you want to, what's the scale and the magnitude of what you want to operate? I've always said from day one, we're running a global family life institute. I've always told my team members, and it's always been like that. So what is your own desired family life practice result? Write it down. Okay, so maybe you want to be seeing like 10 clients every year who can pay $20,000. Or maybe what you want to do is you want to see 100 people who can pay $1,000, $2,000 annually. Maybe that's your desired result. Now, if you have written your desired result, what are your current results? What does your current result look like right now? What is your current reality? So let's say maybe you want to be seeing 100 people who pay you $3,000, but right now you are seeing 100 people who are paying you nothing. Yeah, so somebody says $1,000 monthly. Why fixing family? That's very easy to do. Very easy. Okay, so just put your result on your sheet of paper. Now, let's assume that your desired result is 100%. And now you have looked at your current result. At what capacity do you think you are operating right now? Based on your current result versus your desired result. What percentage can you give to yourself right now? What is your percentage of operation at the moment vis-a-vis your desired result? Do you think you're operating at 10% capacity or 20% capacity or 0% or minus 10? Right? Let me see that answer on the chat box. What percentage are you operating right now? Somebody said 0. All we get is God bless you, Lizzie. That is going to change today. 1%. Somebody said 0. I'm going to have Vince 0. Whoa, 10%. Minus 300, 0 for free. 5%. Less than 10%, less than 10%, less than 0. Okay, so it looks like 0 is many people. Okay, why do you think you are scoring 0? Why do you think you are scoring 10? Gifts and bottles of wine, occasionally 100K. I used to be like that. They will say, let us shake our hand to bless our brother. It's because they assume that you are a pastor. Right. And so let me tell you what is happening here. Now, let me ask you another question. In the last 1 year, how many clients have you successfully assisted in the last 1 year? How many clients have you successfully assisted in the last 1 year? Like, if you have to put a rough estimate, how many? Maybe they came for advice, they came for counseling, they bossed you on social media. Oh, you know, this boy wants to give me, somebody said 15 and 20. Okay, the paid client 5 on paid 20, more than 20, 70. Not charging, doing charity, 5%, 20. Okay. How much were they willing to pay for you to assist them with their family life problems? How much were they willing to pay? What's the average they were willing to pay you? Almost free. Nothing, not charged. 20 unpaid. Nothing. They were willing to pay nothing. Okay. Now, I want you to be honest. Is it that they were willing to pay nothing, or you didn't even know how to charge them? Or maybe you felt guilty to actually charge. Okay, 20 unpaid, 30K per session. Okay, I don't know how to charge. Thank you. I did it on charity. If you are doing it on charity, who is paying for it? Who is paying for that charity? Right? You didn't know how to charge. So this is the problem. You didn't know how to charge. You didn't know how to charge because you had beliefs that has been installed in your brain. And so we're going to unpack those beliefs in this session. So I'll tell you 7 reasons why family life practitioners struggle. Why a lot of people don't get paid. I will tell you. Because I used to be like you. So I'll tell you a story. I trained under the best brains in Nigeria and one person in Africa when I was starting out. Now, unfortunately for me, the best brain I trained under was a pastor. Very good with family life, but a pastor. So I just assumed that it was free. So when I left and I started my outfit and I wanted to do it professionally, I went to learn consulting under, in Africa then, maybe the number one or number two, was in the top two motivational speakers in the world in Africa as a then. Very profound guy. If I mention his name, you will know. But every time we sit with him, he was also a Christian. He would say, God told me not to collect money. God told me not to collect. Boy, the guy was stinkingly rich. So I assumed that I was also not supposed to charge. So I couldn't charge. People will ask me, what do you charge? I'll say, just come, let's solve the problem. So I was solving the problem. You know, I'll just say, give me anything. So they will give me, let us stretch our hand to bless our brother. Then after a while, bottle water. Then after a while, in fact, the most ridiculous thing, I don't know who taught them to be giving us that thing, is this pillow that they write your face. They draw your face on the pillow. Your picture is on the pillow. I had lots of those throw pillows in my house. The thing would be big like this. They will package it in a well-packaged place. The throw pillow. So I had all kinds of throw pillow. They will put my wife's picture, my children's picture, my own picture, or dressed in different throw pillows. Was what I was. I have a cup with my face. How many of you have been getting throw pillows? I was getting throw pillows. Then one day, I went to, so just this, I would talk to, maybe I would do like 20 speaking engagements in a month. And then when I do 20 speaking engagements in a month, the maximum I get to earn, you know, in a month will be like 150,000 naira. Honorarium, everything. So one day, I went to speak somewhere in a village, somewhere down in Ikorodu in Lagos State, Nigeria. And they gave me an honorarium of 30,000 naira. The road was so bad. By the time I got to my house, my car had a major problem. I had to borrow money from my wife, who was a banker, 180,000 naira to fix my car. I will never forget. I bent down and I started crying. I cried and I cried and I was saying, God, what else do I need to do? I'm serving these people. Look at me. I'm borrowing money. I have to pay back. Blah, 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 blah. Then I had, in every labor, there is profit. So I quickly went to meet one of my mentors to say, sir, this is the problem I'm dealing with. And my mentor laughed. And my mentor said, they are not paying you because you have given them reason to believe that they don't need to pay. So he said to me, I'm going to give you a document. It's your onboarding process. Every time they invite you, send it to them. He said, but two things will happen. One, a lot of them will no longer call you. He said, this document will separate those that need you from those that want you. He said, the people you need to go and speak for are the ones who need you, not the ones who want you. Some people just want you to gather a crowd. He said, number two, many of them will start saying, all you know is about money. He said, don't worry. All of us are in the business for money. So I put that in my mind. So reluctantly, I did it. Guess what happened? My speaking engagement dropped from 20 in a month to maybe about 4. But you know those 4, because I had already put in my engagement code that my fee was 250,000. Those 4 were willing to pay 250,000. So instead of 20 speaking engagement, 150,000, maximum 200 at the end of the month, I will do 4 and I'll earn $1 million. So I used to jokingly say to my wife that, you know, I only need to work for 4 days in a month to make the kind of money we would need as a then. So what are the reasons a lot of us struggle? One, profitability mental block, right? You always think, can this work pay my bills? Freely have you received, freely have you give. No, your trainings are not for free. You are on this boot camp right now. It's costing you something. It's costing you time. It's costing you data. It's costing you electricity. Wherever you are, whatever country you are in, it's costing you something. You are going to go for training at the institute. It's going to cost you. I mean, you had some guy was sharing a testimony of how he came to class. By the 6th week of the class, he had made his money back. It's costing you. You will pay school fees. So don't let anybody gaslight you and say, but you are a pastor. In fact, pastors are the ones I pity for the most. Right? Some people are even part-time pastor, but people think that they should be doing it for free. If there is the title, I will remove it. That's why I don't answer any title, so that you don't think that, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. You have not received your training for free. So I can't give it for free. I mean, it's like saying freely have you received, freely. So the pilot should not get paid, right? You went to school, so don't let anybody gaslight. That's number one. Number two, lack of creative productization and leverage, right? Many of us are busy, but you are yet to create any transformative solution that the market needs. Two young people went on YouTube and they created a video on how to kiss. They were not even married, singles. White kids, how to kiss, and they were showing people how to kiss. As at the last time I checked, he had over 40 million views. 40 million views. Do you know how much they make from YouTube every week? You are married. You can kiss legally, but you will not teach people how to kiss. You even said to yourself in your bed, we kiss very well, but you will not kiss and show people how to kiss well, right? So many of us don't have productive, creative productization. So you just go and speak. Sometimes, I went to speak somewhere, and I knew the honorarium wasn't going to be good. Of course, I won't charge churches if it's a Sunday. I don't tell them what to pay me if it's a Sunday. If it's any other day of the week, I'll charge. So I got in there, but I had created my product. I created a pack, sexuality education. It was selling for 7,000 naira. By the time I finished speaking, everybody was moved. People were in tears. My honorarium was 100,000 naira, but my product was 3.5 million, what they made from product sale, right? So lack of creative productization is number two. Number three, obsolete and ineffective practice template. How relevant are your tools, methods, and messages today? How much do you trust them to produce that result? I'm starting a coaching program for churches in America later today from 6 p.m. My time, right? And what is it about? I was asking a lot of pastors, how long do you spend with any troubled marriage? And the average pastor told me 2 to 3 hours. And I said, doing what? He said, we are listening to them. So you listen to wife, you listen to husband. So I said to them, I don't do that. So they asked me, Praise, how long does it take for you to diagnose their cases? I said 15 minutes. Said, how? I said, because I have a psychometry we have created called Oyela. If they feel the psychometry accurately, I'll analyze, and within 15 minutes, I know what is wrong. 96% accurate. There is no client I have sent my report to that did not come back to say, Praise, how did you know this? How did you know this? We did not even tell you this. Said, because things have gone beyond where we are at. And so I'm going to start teaching them how maximum in 15 minutes, you should know what is wrong, and then you can create intervention, and the intervention, maximum of 1 hour per week. In 13 weeks, you are done. Right? And clients pay a lot for that because you charge in bouquet. But if your template is still, word from knowledge. Oh yeah, wife, speak. Husband, speak. You are to blame. You are not to blame. Beg your husband. Cook for him. Give him sex. Da, 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 da. You know the normal things we just say. I don't know how that somebody is hurting. You are saying he's beating you because you are not giving him sex. You are just a local, we call it native intelligence is what you're using. So nobody will pay you so much for that kind of model because the attention span even in the world today is low. People don't have that time. So 3 hours, 4 hours, how many people will you be able to see if you are listening to one person for 3 hours? In fact, if you are not careful, you will lose your family if care is not taken. Because you won't have time for your children, you won't have time for your spouse because you're trying to solve every problem of the world. The next one is inability to master business systems. If you don't have a scalable system and structure and strategy, you're going to struggle, right? And so there's what we call traction science. In traction science is a model that says when you're starting out, create and master your solution and trade. You need to have a template that works. Once that template works, let everybody know that your template works. That sound the alarm and focus it. The next thing is attract and build a tribe of believers and institute a training for them. So you now have people, they are like affiliate marketers or they are like franchisees. They use your model. In our office, for example, we have a franchising opportunity. People come and get franchised with us. They use our name, they use our product, and they are practicing in different countries. We have affiliates who are just around us and they sell our product. Then we have the people who get licensing for some of our solutions and they go use it. So that's what this is talking about. Then you turn believers into evangelists. So they become your marketers and on and on and on. You replicate the process. So you realize that you can have one solution, but you have 100 people who are selling it and they are selling it on your behalf. They are making money, you are making money, and everyone is fine. Right. My poster said people think talk therapy should be free because uncles and aunties were not charging. No. You charge for everything. All right. Okay, good. So, inability to master business system. Many of us love the idea of counseling, but we don't know the business of coaching. Right? The business and the practice are totally different. If you don't learn the business side of things, you are going to be very good, but you are not going to make money. And that takes me to the next one, which is confusing family life practice with activism. A lot of us are confusing family life practice with activism. So you think, oh, they raped somebody. So you go there and fight. And Luther continua, Victoria Sata, you know how we are saying, we shall overcome, we shall overcome. You join them to begin to sing the song. Hey, the government cheating people, they need you. The people being cheated, they need you. Both sides need you. You are not an activist. I want you to say to yourself, if I write it on the chat box, I am not an activist. Can you say that to yourself? I am not an activist. So don't go and join them to carry placard and say, you know, we must fight for our right. No. Your job is not to fight for your right. Your job is to bring wellness to both sides. Because a lot of us, we are fighting for our right. We're fighting. So you lose sight of people who should actually give you deals. Government needs employee family assisted program. You are fighting government. They are not going to call you to come and solve that problem. An employee family assisted program, they can pay you as much as $1 billion. Imagine if they give the entire workforce of civil service in your country to you. That's like $1 billion, almost like $200 million every year, right? But in the name of activism, you've lost. So you have to learn to say no to everybody who tries to assume they know who you are. And that takes me to number 6, which is practitioners' low self-esteem. Who am I to teach anyone how to do marriage better? So some of us, we know what to do, but you have low self-esteem. For example, Africans believe that you are not qualified to teach about marriage if you have gone through divorce. It's a lie. Some people will say that you are not qualified to teach. If you can work for you, why are you not married? You don't have to be married. Marriage takes 2 people to work. You need to separate the lie, your life, from the practice. You can be a good woman and the man is a bad man. And if he insists he wants out of the marriage, there's nothing you can do. So you are not going to bury your head and now say because your marriage did not work. No, it's like saying that a doctor should no longer be a doctor because his child dies. No way. Or a pastor should no longer be a pastor because his daughter got pregnant. We say it's a calling, so it's also a calling for you. As long as you have a certification, in fact, a lot of my colleagues in America, they are divorced. Even if you are divorced, you are in a better position to help singles to know who not to marry. Right? Or some people will say, because you are single, how can you as a single, how can you be teaching married people how to make their marriage work? Hello, if you have gone to school for it, you have the templates and the practice, you can. Why are Reverend Fathers counseling people? So don't let anybody gaslight you or tell you, who are you to teach anybody how to make money? Some people even tell you there is no manual for marriage. There's a manual. And they'll tell you the Bible is the manual. No, the Bible is a book of several other things. There is a manual. There are documented. Emily, how are you? I'm greeting your son. I think he's waving to me. There are documented evidence. There are templates that can make people's marriages work. So don't let anybody mess you up and make you. Some of you are here because your marriage has not worked, or because you are struggling in marriage. You have now bowed your head to say that, oh, you are not qualified. You are not qualified to. Hello, you are qualified. 1.4 mental health workers to 100,000 families in Africa. We have deficits of shortage of professionals. So don't let anybody mess you up in any country of the world. Nobody is asking those kind of questions. What is in it? Are you qualified? Are you not qualified? Excuse me. Don't allow anybody. You need to make your noise better. Make your noise louder. The ecosystem is so full. The divorced people, they need help. The singles, they need help. The married, they need help. Single mothers, single fathers, they need help. Don't let anybody use your past to judge you. Oh, they say you are a single mother and you must be promiscuous. Excuse me. At least me, I got pregnant and I kept the pregnancy. Or what of the people are masturbating or doing abortion? Is it because there's no evidence to show? Don't let anybody mess you up. Right? Practitioner low self-esteem has robbed a lot of you of the capacity to earn. And that takes me to number 7. certification without contextualization. A lot of us as Africans, we have the foreign certificate syndrome with no transformative solution. If you take your certification, I mean, I've taken a number of certifications in America, but I contextualize because American problem is not African problem. Americans don't bother about in-laws coming to visit you. Africans, in-laws, we want to dictate what happens in your marriage. Americans don't bother about husband and wife, who should be cooking. Should I be the one cooking? Should you be? Africans bother about that. So if you just go for the certification in America and you don't contextualize it, and that's why at the Institute, the Family System Engineering certification program, the psychometry tool is purely African, right? I mean, interesting thing is the Caribbeans and the Asians are now using it, right? And so certification, because many of you, part of the low self-esteem is, you believe, you say American certified. There is nothing called American certification, by the way. Organizations in America can certify you. The nations don't certify you. And how you know that it doesn't exist is take it to the embassy and say you want a visa. They will not recognize it, right? So your certification must be with contextualized. So far I've told you 7 things. Now, so let me ask you, which of these reasons can you easily relate with out of the 7? Which one do you think is stopping you, okay, from making your life work as a practitioner? Ajala said low esteem is limiting. Okay, Amotang says all. Somebody said this is real stuff. So which one of the 7 is really, really messing you up as a person? Low self-esteem, all. Karen says all. Number 7, Barbara says number 7, all. Very insightful, everything, low self-esteem, inability to master business system. Fantastic, people are saying all. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being very honest. Now, let me say this, that at the root of a struggling practice are self-sabotaging beliefs that every high-performing professional has uninstalled. There are so many mental blocks that you need to uninstall today, and I'll show you how to uninstall them. Now, a lot of these mental blocks, I also had them. You know, I wasn't married when I started this work. And people will come and they'll be asking questions. How long have you been married? And I say, I'm not married. And they stand up and they say, we cannot be talking to someone who is not married. What experience do you have to be talking to us? Me too, I will ask them, I will say, oh, by the way, do you have a child? And they say, we have a child. I have a child. Okay, so if you have a child, the doctor that delivered your child for your first child, was the doctor male or female? The same male. Why did you not kick against him delivering your child? He said, because he's a doctor. Oh, no. He's never been a woman. He's never had pregnancy, gotten pregnant. What authority does he have? And then they will laugh. Because a lot of those things limited me. And I started wearing a ring just for them to stop talking and blah, 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 blah. But after a while, I removed the ring. If you don't see me as a solution provider, then don't come to me. And I would have made them pay before they even show up, right? And so I had to force my way into the market. You have to understand those objections, but you need to rise above it. Yes, thank you, Lola. Paul was not married, and he gave counsel on marriage in the Bible. Jesus was not married. So at the root of the struggling practice are self-sabotaging software that you need to uninstall. So here are the 6 limiting beliefs that sabotage the progress of a passionate family life professional. Number 1, you need to understand that there's what we call triangle of life. When you come to class, we'll teach you how you can use this to solve any problem, right? That you need to start with, what result do I want? What beliefs must I have that can take me to that result? And then what are the action steps I need to take? Now, when these 3 triangles don't align, people will be sabotaged. So a lot of people will say, I want to make a lot of money from family life practice. But then their beliefs is that freely have you received, freely give. Their beliefs is sabotaging the result. So there is no way they're not going to get that, they're going to get that result. So you need to understand that at the root of the struggles of many professionals are certain beliefs that if we don't understand, we continue to sabotage the effort to help people create things. Number 1, family life practice does not pay well. That is a limiting belief. It's not true, right? I can tell you numbers. I mean, I did a job in the US when I first came to the US, and it was a 3-day job, you know, of teaching a parenting workshop and teaching children church teachers in a particular church, it was a $40,000 transaction, right? And so some people don't earn that in a year, right? I mean, I have people who pay me $10,000 to just, singles who are not even doing any relationship, right? If you want to, you need to segment your market and know who you want to reach out to, right? And you need to work on your brand to portray that. So that's why most of my deep stuff, I write them on LinkedIn, because social media, I mean, Facebook people are very, very fickle. So that's where I joke. Facebook. Instagram, I reach out to a number of people on Instagram, but on LinkedIn, I'm very professional because I'm reaching the executives, right? And so I have to pay for my own LinkedIn so that I can send direct messaging to the executives I need to reach out to, telling them about my services, right? And so family life practice pays well. When I was in Nigeria, I was still living in Nigeria, I was doing close to $80,000 annually, way back, right? And so it's not true that family life practice does not pay well. It pays well. Now, it's not going to pay you overnight. There's a process to that, but it pays. It pays. And I've seen people make their class money before they leave class when they follow instructions. Number two, family life practice is a gift from God and cannot be learned from any school. I'm sure you've heard people say that. Limiting beliefs that sabotage the progress of a passionate family life professional. Oh, it cannot be learned from any school. It is God's gift. Okay, medical science is God's gift. Go and perform operation now, right? Or being a pilot is God's gift. Then go and, so imagine if you get into a plane, right? And then somebody says to you, welcome on board, I'm the pilot. I didn't go to school. God gifted me the gift of piloting a plane. Are you going to stay in the plane? Right? I'm sure you're going to jump down. Even if the person announces that I'm your pastor in church, God has instructed me to fly this plane, I don't have a training. You're not going to listen to the person. So a lot of people don't believe that they need to take, and usually what happens is that they mess up more people. They have all kinds of extremes. So for example, a lot of people still teach in Africa that the first need of a man is respect. The first need of a woman is love. That's not true. Love and respect are human needs in every nation of the world. Have you seen any woman? Is there any woman here who doesn't want to be respected? You just want to be loved. Or is there any man here who doesn't want to be loved? You just want to be respected. Or people teach things like men are logical, women are emotional. That's not true. Every human being has got logic and emotion. The one you utilize the most is the one that becomes pronounced. That's why there are women here who are more logical than emotional, right? It's not true, but people still teach that on pulpits across Africa. It's because they've not gone for training, and so they are teaching culture as scripture. They are modeling things up together. They are teaching the Jewish culture as standards for Bible. And they say somebody called their husband Lord. So you too, your husband must be a Lord. Your husband, how can your husband be a Lord? Right? Is a lot of, they don't even know the difference between a man, a wife, a man, a husband, a woman, a wife. These are differences. Only trainings will give that to you, right? So they teach a lot of culture and scripture, and the people under them are shouting Rema, 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 Rema. But everything they're teaching, if you have to understand the science of family life, you'll be wondering, what's this guy saying, right? So family life practice can be a gift from God, but you have to develop it. You hear me say Lord of the Rings. Number 3, you cannot be a good family life professional if you are not married or if you are divorced. Lies from the pit of hell. Paul was not married. Jesus was not married. So many people are not married. So many people are divorced, and they are crushing it, right? They are crushing it. So don't let anybody be too many. I see a lot of things being taught by the people clap for and the people they respect. And I'm like, do these people even think? I can bring out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that will truncate all of these things. Because I'm a professional, I am neutral enough to study things. You will hear things like, if you marry somebody that is not from this church, the devil will be your mother-in-law. No, marriage is for human beings, right? And so on that, a lot of people are leaving the person they genuinely love to go and marry somebody in church or in the mosque, and the person is making their life miserable, right? And so a lot of people are teaching a lot of wrong teaching. I have seen people leave the person they genuinely love. Maybe the person is attending Anglican church, they are attending Pentecostal church, and they are being told he's an Anglican, he's an unbeliever, he's a Catholic. Is the person a good human being? He's a good human being. He has strong values. And then you are saying because he's not a member of your church. And so a lot of lives have been destroyed. And if we don't stand up to these things, we will mess up a lot of people. We will destroy a lot of people. A lot of people are now marrying person they don't like, and they are now going back to the person they love to be cheating secretly with the person because that's where their heart is. Right? And so you cannot, so don't listen to this because these beliefs can mess you up. And that takes me to number 4. All you need is a foreign certification for your practice to be recognized. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. In fact, at the Institute, we now have Americans taking our courses, right? We had 3 Black Americans in class at the last set. 3 of them. One of them is a doctor, is a PhD holder in America. We are close. She operates. If I mention her name, you can check her out. Very, very good. But she had to come and do her certification. And one thing she said to me was that, Praise, I started using the tools on my clients and I realized that it's more effective. The problem we have in Africa is we don't praise ourselves and we don't magnify what we have. So we always think if it's American, it will be better. If it's British, it will be better. But they're having more problems in family life than even Africa. Right? So, and that takes me to number 5. You don't have enough capacity to help others. Who am I syndrome? Excuse me, say to yourself, I am worthy. I taught a class 3 weeks ago on the science of manifestation. Please, admin, if you can lay hold on it, help me put the link on the chat box so that they can go listen to it. Or if you go to my page on to my account channel on YouTube, the Power of Manifestation Praise Forward, you can find it there, right? You need to listen to it, right? If you want to manifest anything, the first thing is clarity. You need to be clear of what you want to manifest. But you see, stage 2 is where the battle is. Stage 2 is you need to defeat the doubting voices within you. So you want to say, this year, I'm going to earn $1,000 every month. And a voice says to you, who are you? Who do you know? Do you even have a dumb account? Do you think it's people like that voice will come? It's normal. You now need to stand as your advocate in court, as your solicitor, and give enough evidence why you deserve to earn it. Say because the voice is giving you doubt, you are saying to the voice, you know what? I am actually going to earn more than that. Because do you know the cost of divorce? If people go through divorce, you know what they're going to lose. You know what happened to their children. So if they pay me $1,000, I'm saving them from pain. I need to earn more than that. You need to literally defeat that voice. So that's stage 2. You need to silence the doubting voice. Stage 3 is incubation. Incubation is you now need to think about the outcome you want. You need to literally see yourself earn that money. You need to see yourself. How will you feel when they pay you? You need to see it in your mind. And you need to see it till it becomes a part of you. And that takes you to step 4, which is atmosphere. You need to create an atmosphere that is in conformity with what you want. So you surround yourself with the right sound, with the right people, with the right poster, with the right vision board. Stage 5 is gratitude, where you live it out in anticipation that it has happened. If you follow those 5 steps, you can manifest anything. And that takes me to number 6. Okay, they put it so you can go watch it. You need a lot of social media followers to attract enough paying clients. It's not true. You can have 1 million followers and maybe they were bot followers, right? You don't need a lot. I have like 50,000 followers. All those 50,000, I don't even know how they followed me on Instagram. I don't know why they're following me. I don't know how they followed me, right? Most of my clients usually come when I do live sessions, right? And even these days, I don't really do one-on-one. My team will do that. I do more of consulting and more of group coaching and the rest of them, right? So you need a lot of social media followers. It's not true. It's not true, right? You just need to show up consistently. So from tomorrow, we will show you the 5 rules. There are 10 of the new rules that you need to master. But today, you don't need any of these things. You need to uninstall these beliefs. So we're going to do a simple beliefs change, right? And so I want you to pick one belief that you believe is sabotaging You just write it down. Which of the beliefs has been stopping you from becoming the best version of yourself? Right? Can you write it down in your notes? Identify your limiting belief, just one. Now you can repeat the activity when you get home with other beliefs. Identify your limiting beliefs, sabotaging your progress in your family life practice. Which of these beliefs that we have talked about is sabotaging you? Can you write it down? If you have written it down, can you type yes? Let me see if you have written it down. Bumi, I can see your question. Please ask me during question and answer. Right? Yes. Okay, you've written it down. Now, I want you to look at that belief. I want you to look at that belief and ask yourself, is this belief serving you and giving you the result you truly want? Is that belief serving you and giving you the result you truly want? You need to answer that question too. Is it giving you the result you truly want? Good. So if that belief is not giving you the result you truly want, right? If it's not giving you the result you truly want, why do you want to hold on to it? Now, so the next step you're going to do is you are going to reframe. What would you rather want to believe that can give you the outcome that you want? I need you to write that down in your note. What must you believe to get you the result you want? What must you believe to get you the result you want? So can you write the new belief? If you really, really want to get that belief. So for example, if your limiting belief is I'm not good enough, right? And yet you want to make $1,000 every month, you change the belief to I'm the best that exists. I am the best that exists. That's what I'm going to change it to. Now, step 4 to install the belief now says, what action step will you take to install this new beliefs? What action steps must you take to install these new beliefs? What action step must you take to install this new belief? I mean, if I say I'm the best, then I'm going to ensure that whenever I'm going online, in fact, from tomorrow, I'll go on social media and I'll type, if you want to master your life as a single or as a married person, there is only one coach that is your final bus stop, and that is me. Please slide into my DM and let's talk. Right? That's what I will do. And every time I show up, I'll probe up my best wear. I'll wear my suspenders. I will smile and I'll shoot a video. 2 minutes video every day. How to enjoy your marital life. How to attract the best spouse. How I found the right man for me. Those are the action steps. The action steps you are taking will eventually be superimposed on your doubts till your doubts are silenced. That is how you change a belief. It's a simple process. But the action part is where many of us fall short. So for every doubt you have, you need to reframe. You know, this is aligning with, I mean, if you're a Bible student, maybe you're a Christian, if you read Romans 4, it says Abraham was first of all called father, and then he became father. Basically, the guy was barren, but then God says the father. So he believed that he's a father, even though there was no baby, but he believed, he started calling him what God calls him. And one day, baby showed up. So you are first of all who you say you are, even when there is no manifestation in sight, right? So you need to follow these 4 steps to change any belief, to change any belief. Having said that, I'll take your question shortly. This is a triangle you need to be very familiar with, right? You need to not miss out on this triangle. For everything you want to hack, right, you can already see your current result. Your current result is produced by your current beliefs and your current practice. So why you are getting the result you are getting, I know. If I ask you to write 7 things you do daily, if you write it on your sheet of paper, you will know why you're getting the result you are getting. Because if you write 7 things you are doing every day, and you look at it, and I ask you, and you can try it, your 7 activities you do daily, your routines and ritual you do daily. If I ask you to look at the 7 things, if you don't have 7, maybe 5, where does it look like you are going based on what you have written down? you will know why you are where you are, right? But you are producing those outcomes and those activities because of your beliefs. So to change your life, you are going to ask yourself, what result do I want? What is the expected result I want for my life? Now, when you write that result down on your notes, right? Write it down. What result do you want for your family life practice? You've written it down. Then you ask yourself, what belief must I begin to espouse, embody, and live out to produce this outcome? So let's say this year, I want to start earning $2,000 per client. Now, I told myself I'll start earning $2,500, minimum of $2,500 during COVID, right? 2000, thereabout. No, 2020, $2,500. Yeah, that was when I started earning $2,000. The moment I said it, I started an evening class, a little morning class in Nigeria, 2 a.m. class every day. Before I knew, people started reaching out to me. Prince, I want you to coach me. I said $2,500, and that was my best-selling product that period, right? And so if that is the result you want, what must I believe, right? My belief must be that I am the best family life coach that exists, depending on who you want to focus on. If you want to focus on teenagers, I'm the best teen coaches that exist, right? And their parents will trust me with whatever I need. Now, what must be your practice, my routine? When I wake up, I will ensure I post 3 things on teen coaching every day, or 3 things on marriage every day. If there is any crisis in marriage globally, I will analyze it and I will give solution. If they have done this, anywhere they're talking about it, I will show up and I'll create an intelligent framework, and I'll tell people, I'll announce myself the king of family life practice in Lusaka, or South African's finest when it comes to family life solution, or Zimbabwe's #1 family life coach. Nobody can come and stop me from calling myself whatever I've chosen to call myself, but I need to live up to that. You don't have to become anything extraordinary to brand yourself properly, right? You brand yourself properly and then you align with your branding. That is what you need to do, guys. And so, before I take questions and I wrap up, I want you to look at all these people, right? I mean, you have Coach Amina. Coach Amina is one of the finest family life therapists in Africa. You have Dima. You're going to see Dima tomorrow. He's Director of Studies. You had Pastor Edwin. He's a pastor in House on the Rock. This is Aima. Aima operates in America. She's a therapist in America. This is Dr. Sherry Clark. She's a Black American. This is Priscilla. She's a therapist in America. That's Juwon. That's Dr. and Dr. Olaore. They are also therapists in America. That's Zuriel, the best player therapist in Africa. That's Miss Ogunlesi. You see all these people, right? They also came to these meetings like you. None of them was showing up. None of them, they all wanted to practice, but then they didn't have the training to practice. So all these people are products of the Institute, among like 500 others who have gone through the Institute. So tomorrow, we're going to be teaching you the 5 new rules of family life practice. You don't want to miss it for anything. You don't want to miss it for anything. But this year, like we said, 1,000 family life practitioners, we're going to raise them in Africa. And so there are going to be 3 trainings this year, right? And so you can, sign up today, right? And tomorrow we'll tell you what the pricing looks like. Stream 1 starts February 7th, right? Stream 2 is June 6th and Stream 3 is September 19th. We do 3 basic trainings in the year. You can align, but don't postpone till November because it will never happen, right? And then there will be pockets of other trainings. We're going to do nation by nation, thereabout. I mean, that is not, we're trying to get some things sorted before we do that, right? So I'm going to appeal to you because the most important thing in your practice is accurate diagnosis. Accurate diagnosis, right? All of you are sending me questions. I'm going to take your questions shortly. Accurate diagnosis is what is most important. So the cost fee for this year is $390 or 600,000 naira. But if you are in this training today and tomorrow, you can have it for $330. Or if you want to spread your payment, what you need to do is to lock down your spot with about $100 or 150,000 within the next 3-4 days thereabout, right? If you want to spread your payment, you need to first indicate that you are interested and pay 150,000 to lock down your fee. to be able to activate the boot camp deal, right? The boot camp deal is about 550,000 or something thereabout, but you need to lock it down within the next 72 hours with 150,000. Now, the first thing that's going to happen to some of you is that, where will I find that money? No, that's a wrong belief. Again, that's a limiting belief. Many years ago, I attended a training, and it was a 1 million naira training many years ago. And because I know that my beliefs can limit me, the first thing I said is, how can I afford it? So I got to my house and I said, how can I afford this training? Because my destiny needs it. That's where I check myself. Do I need this? I need this. How do I afford it? Immediately I said, how do I afford it? The first thing that came to my mind is, okay, what can I do to earn 1 million naira within the next 3 weeks? I couldn't find. Okay, what can I do to earn 500,000 in 2 places? Right? What can I do to earn 250,000 in 4 places? I went down and down and down like that. Then I got to, what can I do, sell for 100,000 and I'll get 10 buyers within the next 1 week. And that was where I stopped. And I realized that, okay, I could sell a parenting program, right? I already do parenting, whatever. I can do that. So I went online and I said, no. The best parenting templates ever seen. It's going to be a 2-day class, 100,000, blah, 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 blah. I put it up, and guess what? 13 people paid. So I had 1.3 million. I went to pay for my training, and I did the training, and it totally changed my life. So I don't want to say to you to say, oh, I can't afford it. You say, how can I afford it? Does my destiny need it? Yes, you can do instrumental payment. You need to, first of all, lock down your spot. 150,000, go lock down your spot, and then you can discuss with them on how you want to spread your payment, right? And so that is only available for this boot camp, right? After the boot camp, price reverts to what it is, right? We've not changed our pricing in like 5 or 6 years. We just increased it by 100,000 this year because, again, we're spending a whole lot on the platform and on our facilitators. It's a 13-week program in class, but it's not just the class program. See, in class alone, we would have learned how to make your money back. Once you do the Oyela psychometry, which is revelation, you can make your money back almost immediately. But beyond that, when you leave class, we put you in a community of African finest, where we handhold you, where they support you, and where they even support. I mean, there are people here that I'm mentoring right now. We show you how to get deals. You can take franchising. You can jumpstart yourself, kickstart your life almost immediately, right? You get all of those. So I expect you to take advantage of this right away. So I'm going to give you an assignment. Before I take a few questions, I'll take about maybe 5 questions. Before you come tomorrow, these are 2 things you need to do, maybe 3 things. 1, go and sign up, right? We have to change Africa and the world together. Some people ask me, see, I've not done any additional certifications since I got to America. All I'm teaching you, you're going to learn in class, is what's all I learned. And that's what I use here, right? And I'm solving a whole lot of problems for people, and they pay. See, let me tell you, customers don't mind whatever you charge. They only want ease of payment. That's what I've learned since I got to America. If you charge $20,000, they can pay. They only want, can I spread it over 18 months? Yes, you can spread it over 18 months. Because they have their card system. Of course, that won't work in Africa, but that's how these things work. So go sign up, right? If you have 150,000, that's all you have now, sign it up. And then you know that you just need to spread over 3 months or something, and you're done. Now, number 1, write a personal commitment statement to yourself on the future of your family life practice and the value you bring and how much you will get paid. I need you to do that before tomorrow. Tonight, you're going to write a personal commitment statement to yourself on the future to say, I praise. In the next 3 years, I'm going to become one of the top 10 family life professionals who have come out of Africa, and I'll be solving problems for government across Africa, and I'll be getting signed up to the tune of $1 million per government across Africa. That's my personal commitment to myself. Yours can be different, right? And then number 2, what is limiting your capacity to operate at the highest level, and what are you going to do about it? What is limiting your capacity to operate at the highest level, and what are you going to do about it? I need you to do this task again tomorrow. Tomorrow, which is day 2, we're going to be teaching you the 5 of the 10 new rules of family life practice that you can't afford not to know in the year 2025 going to 2030. Right. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope I've answered some of the problems for you today. If you have any question, you can raise your hand, or you can ask your question in the chat box, and I'm going to respond to you. So you go ahead and click on the link, and then yeah. So somebody said, I took a loan to attend the training years ago, but now one session alone is enough to earn me the training fees. Great things, solving problems and being paid for. Okay, that's Becky. Becky, good to have you here. Okay, Rachel is raising her hand. Can they unmute Rachel for me, please? If you have a question, raise your hand. Yeah, so I can take 2 questions there about. Rachel, what's your question?
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. This has been very enlightening, and I like your style and your approach. So my question is that, so if I want to develop a module for, let's say, single people who are waiting to get married, but then they want to learn about marriage before they start the whole process and all, do you have a course that teaches how to develop such modules? And do you have courses, do you have packages for module development, something like that?
Okay, thank you very much. The first thing you need to do is do family STEM engineering. In family STEM engineering, you're going to learn a whole lot. There's an entire module at level 2 where you learn how to prepare modules and how to prepare sessions. But even at that, at level 1, you'll be assigned mentors. Your mentors will, for example, if I was one assigned to you, I have some of my mentees right now, they don't even need to create anything. I have a 24-year content. Some of them I'm not even using them. So basically what we do is we license them to use it, right? Some of them can't even they don't want to set up their practice. They want to practice under me. So we give them franchising. Unlike other franchising model where they have to pay excessively to start their practice, they don't need to pay. We just onboard them, and then everything they make, 70% is theirs, right? So if you finish FSC, there are mentors who will literally take you under their wings and show you this is how modules are created. I mean, I teach that regularly in my mentoring session. This is how to create solutions. This is how to create modules. This is how to set it. Or there are already existing models that you can just be licensed to use, and then you can be using it for your practice. It is that simple, right? How do you need down to know where exactly you should be playing? Okay, so niching is good, right? That was the first thing my mentor told me. My mentor said, look for what nobody's teaching that you want to teach, or what they are not teaching the way you want it taught. So I looked at the market when I was starting out. I saw Bimbo Dukoya in that space. I saw Lumide Emmanuel. I saw a few other places. Jerome was there. Jerome is from Benin Republic. And I felt, no, I don't stand a chance with all this jam. They were all on TV. So I looked at what they are not doing. They are not teaching sexual education. So I went the route of sexual education, and that brought me to national prominence. And by the time Pastor Bimbo had passed, I came back to family life space and I started training. Right. So I'm going to say to you, you can niche based on your deepest passion. So it can be teen coaching, it can be parenting, it can be, but I always say to people, it's always better you have a foundational knowledge on everything, because once you have the framework, that's the difference between family STEM engineering and every other. What family STEM engineering gives you is a framework that you can adapt to every other thing that you're trying to do, right? So you can adapt this framework to every other thing. So you can now niche and say, this is what I want to focus on. Because if you are doing teen coaching, for example, and you are meeting the parents and you realize that your marriage is in trouble, that's additional income for you. But if you don't do it, you will need to refer, right? So that's it. Okay, Augusta and Bolanle, can I take the 2 of you? Augusta?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. It's been a very, in fact, an awesome time. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, let me just quickly go into my question for today, I'm a teens coach. I'm also an emotional intelligence coach. And the challenging part I'm having right now, of course, you talked about it, the power of manifestation in the new city. I'm in Benin City now. We just relocated from Lagos. It was easier in Lagos, because going to schools, organizations, but ever since I came to Benin, in fact, for the past 1 year, if I had to go, the last session I had to go to Lagos, and it's been so difficult because my husband got a job here and we had to come. So I think that's, in fact, it was depressing for me. I didn't even know where to start because I felt this place, who knows me here? And I've been going around schools and everybody's like, who's going to pay for this? We don't need this and all that.
Okay, so from what you have said, your answer is already there. Your mindset is what is generating your result. Your mindset is already saying, who knows me here? So everywhere you go, we don't know you here and we can't pay for you here. That's what they're saying to you. It's your mindset. If I came to the same Benin, I'm going to be talking to your state governor. I'm going to be talking to the first lady. I'm going to be talking to the parastatals. I'm going to be giving them a proposal to say, you know what? This is what I charge. Let me train all your secondary school teachers on the new rule of teen coaching or teen parenting or blah, 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 blah. Government pay for it. Pay me 5 million or pay me 10 million. I'm going to do this. I'm going to find the people I'm going to align with. You need to understand that in B2B business, there is B2C. B2C is when you go directly to the customer. B2B is when you are dealing with organization. B2B is about networking. You need to build a relationship. That takes you time, right? But B2C, you just need to do Facebook ads. And B2C is how some of you got here. If I was talking to organization, I'm not going to do Facebook adverts. I'm going to go have meetings with them, right? So you first need to upscale your mind. There is money in Benin City. There is money everywhere. And also, what you're doing does not have boundaries in the sense that you can sit. I'm in Dallas, Texas right now, and I'm reaching out to all of you. So who says you cannot still advertise your product? Nobody cares where you are at. They want solutions to their problem. I have never sat with majority of my clients one-on-one in the last 5 years. It's usually Zoom, right? So you need to deal with your mind and deal with that mindset. Yeah. Bolanle.
Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. Good evening from my end. Thank you very much for taking our time. I'm also a teens tutor, right? And I've been in this business for about 10 years.
Yeah.
I recently just wrote my first book titled Growing a Memo, right? And but I'm currently having issues with marketing it, right? Because over time, um, I had a mindset that until people knew me for what I do with teenagers, that's when they can begin to buy my book. But now that I have that sort of confidence, I released the pre-order day because I released the pre-order price like 50% off, which is more or less like what they do for book sales. But aside a friend who helped with, she invested by saying she supported by, paying for about 30 copies. I've just sold just 10, about 7 copies since then. And it's running to about 14 days that I released pre-order date. It will be launched this coming weekend. And I'm quite discouraged with the turn up for sales.
Don't be discouraged. You see, book sale in Africa is a bit problematic because of the Africans. You need to understand rules of engagement. I mean, this is not a forum for that. You need to know the peculiarity of where you function. Rules of engagement in Africa is that people buy who they know. They buy names. And never forget, Africa is basically driven by politicians and religious leaders. So if you're not a religious leader that has like 1,000 members, right, you have to be exceptionally good and your marketing channels have got to be solid. Maybe you're on TV regularly or you're an influencer for people to even say they want to buy books from you and blah, blah, blah. I grew to that level and I knew I sold a book. I had a book that was out that sold 60,000 copies within 1 year, right? And it was because I had done a lot of free stuff for government that I literally went to meet them and say, guys, you have to take 10,000 copies. And then people were buying. And so I don't know what kind of books you have released, but part of what you can do is you can look for organizations that can brand the book in using their brand, and then they can distribute it for free. You will collect the money. You have to find a way, right? But if you're depending on one-on-one marketing and blah, blah, blah. You will need to do influencing marketing. You will need to do a whole lot. Or the other way is set up a community. I always recommend that when students leave our classes, set up a community, grow the community. If you grow the community to 2,000, maybe on Telegram or on WhatsApp, right? And then you can say, okay, every year you renew with 10,000 or 20,000, and then you get the book, So basically, you need to grow a tribe, basically, and it's your tribe that really will buy your book initially, and then members of your tribe can help you sell the book. Okay, so
I have a part B to that question, please.
What is the part B?
Okay, the part B is the community itself, right? So I have a registered NGO that actually started as a WhatsApp platform. So over time, it's running to about 7 years now. Teenagers will always grow into adults. So renewing, the new target audience now has been a sort of problem, a sort of challenge as well, because and I try to imbibe the persons who have gone through the organization to become volunteers, but it's becoming very, very difficult because teenagers also, beyond webinars and all, they also need one-on-one.
Okay, so you are asking me a question that is outside the scope of this course, but what I'm going to say to you is that you need to reinvent yourself. Okay. If I were you, as my teenagers were maturing into adulthood, I'm asking, what is the next thing they need, right? They are going to uni. What are the level of knowledge they need in uni? They need scholarships, right? Can I grow myself to be the one helping them get scholarship, helping them get When they are in university, they are going to start dating. Can I set up a dating platform for them, and get them to begin to pay something? After that, they're going to start working, right? They are going to become parents. And that's why it's always good to have an overall knowledge, so that you can also grow with them. At the same time, you have a funnel where you recruit new people. So if you, for example, once in a year, you say you're doing a free session for teenagers between ages 13 to 15, parents send them in, you have 1,000 teenagers that's how you recruit your new people. Right. Bolande, can I take you? And then I will go to the chat box. Let me see the chat box. Bolande, I'm sorry, Shalom. Shalom, can I take your time up, please? I'll just take that final question. Is the boot camp physically? All our courses are fully online, please. They are fully online. Shalom, do you have a question? I can see your hands up.
Yes. Good evening. Yes, I have a question. Good evening, Mr. Praise. Thank you so much for these insightful teachings tonight. My own case, I just want a piece of advice from you. I've been in this marriage counseling for some time now. I've been organizing programs. I do a yearly program, every December, because I'm still in a paid employment. Okay. But God has been faithful. I have supporters. I have people who believe in the ministry, and they've been supporting the ministry massively, because I usually don't charge for it. But once I call for a meeting, I have people who will sponsor. Now, because I can see all that you are offering, I'm very much interested in everything you are offering. But the challenge is the timing. What do you advise? Because like I told you, once in a year I get to do programs. But it's something by the grace of God I will retire to when I finally leave my paid employment. But what is your advice? Do you think I can still get, because this program that you're advertising is something I want to do, but I don't think I have the time to sit down to do all of this, because my job is very intense as well. So what do you advise me to do? Do I continue to manage like this till I drop my pen, or what do you think?
You will always have time for what is important to you. It's just once a week.
They are both important.
You have you have 2 hours every week, right, to attend class. And most of the videos are already pre-recorded and given preloaded for you, right? And so you only need to attend 2 hours of reviews every week for 13 weeks. I'm sure you can, and it's in the evening. It's not during the daytime, right? I think Friday nights is when they do it, the reviews. And if you miss a review, you can always get the video. So I'm not sure you would say you can't factor 2 hours a week, right? For that. And you do your assignment, so it's not difficult. And you have a lot of support. Yeah. Because if you're waiting till you retire, what if something comes up, right? What if, you have to understand that there's always more in whatever God has committed into your hand. Yeah. Apostle Harold, I can see your end. Please, can I take you? And I will hand over. How do I pay if I'm in Houston? And how can I connect to Mr. Praise? Because I'm here in Houston. I'm in Houston next week. Okay, the person in Houston, I think you on the payment page, you can use your card to also pay. Yeah, Apostle Harold, can I take you? And that will be all.
Yes, I'm a recently certified sex addiction counselor.
Yes, sir.
I've been counseling people on sex for over 20 years, but I've not really been able to get plenty people to market it. How do I do that? Because a lot of people are sort of shy about the issue of sex.
Okay. Well, if you're a sex addiction coach, you have to go to the market with your full chest. I put up a picture there of Wumi Eson. Wumi Eson is my mentee. She's also in the institute. Wumi Eson is about the finest sexologist, in Nigeria at the moment. I know she's one of the best in Africa, but she's the best in Nigeria at the moment. And we're always proud of her. If you see Wumi Eson's page, you wouldn't believe it, right? A lot of people are dealing with sex addiction, and so you have to go to the market and you have to believe that you can. Again, I don't know the framework you're using, but you have to believe that you can do it and just go to the market and start talking about sex addiction. People will be sliding into you. Of course, they will not come physically. They'll slide into your DM, and then you can do anonymous sessions for them. I mean, I've done sex addiction sessions in fact, we used to have what we call solution providers in training. My office in Lagos, where people are dealing with addiction actually come and they do their support group every week, right? But what I've done is to design, we have a 40-day recovery program, 3 weeks recovery program, and then they do it daily activities and they have accountability system. So there are several ways that can be done. Okay, looks like I've answered every question. The recording is going to be shared with you, definitely. I think it's going to be on YouTube. So how many of you would like to come to class? Can you say hi? You like to come to class? Can you say hi? On the chat box, let me see. Give me ginger before I leave tonight. Okay, how many of you? We are doing, across Africa, we're going to shift the base. We're going to hold you by the hand. You are going to, okay, I'm loving you guys are my MVP. So I'm seeing everyone. I'm going to see you in class. Take the first step today, right? If you believe you can, you are going to do it, right? Just first zero your mind to say, you know what? I'm going to be in this class. Zambian in class, Barbara, thank you. I think we have someone in Zambia, Lena. Lena is in Zambia. She's one of our best people, or best persons over there. She's always attending our programs and our meetings. Botswana. Ethiopia, good to have you. I want to come to Ethiopia, by the way. I've heard so much about your tourism. Okay, Lena is your friend. Good. Lena James, okay. If someone make time for it. So everyone, Mombasa, Kenya. We're coming to Kenya. We'll take our family life conference to Kenya, maybe in 2 years' time. Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Demon. Okay. Yeah, can you share on accreditation? So guys, please go ahead, go sign up. I'm going to see you in class February 7th. I will be facilitating. I think I'm taking 2 modules. I can't wait to have you in class. Everything you need, we will ensure we handhold you, we'll push you, we'll support you, especially for those of you who are non-Nigerians. We need you to quickly take over your country before other people will come and take over your country, right? I'm working with someone in South Africa. I'm working with someone in I think Zimbabwe or Zambia, Namibia, actually, Rwanda. We need to fortify Africa, right? South Africa, I love you all. I'm coming to Houston next week, Friday to Sunday, going to be in Houston. So if you're in Houston, I'll drop my phone number on the chat box. It's +1 817 88817 269, right? So you can talk to me, 178817269. Yeah, that's my number. So you can give me a shout and we'll talk, or give me a buzz. Okay, Coach Ayolua, I know you are ready to chase me out of here. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Do your task. Will I be in the UK? June, we do a conference in the UK. We have a community in the UK, very huge community as well. You can join. We'll be there in the UK. Every country will cover. And if you want to come to Doha in November, start getting ready. We are eating Doha for 6 days, 6 nights, right? I love you all. Africa, we have to win. We must win. Nobody's better than us. We have the finest brains in Africa. We are passionate, we are compassionate, and we are the ones to save our continent, and not anybody coming to save our continent for us. Thank you. I love you all. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, PF. Thank you everyone for making out time for tonight's session. This is just to remind you again, just as PF has said, tomorrow we are expecting you again in the class, same time, and with the same link. Please do well to attend next session tomorrow. Thank you all for coming. Please, what are you leaving this call with tonight? Can you please quickly drop that in the comment section before we drop the curtain tonight? What is it that you are going with tonight? I am going with a lot of things that PF has said tonight. What are you going home tonight with? All right, the link for registration has been posted on the chat box. You can reach out to us if you need more information. Thank you all for joining us. See you tomorrow, same time, same venue. Thank you. Have a pleasant night's rest. Bye.